ladies. I'm just going to talk about April Mason today. April Mason is that Black femininity coach who has made so many courses and used to be a matchmaker in Atlanta. She lives in Atlanta. She's American. So April has been working in the whole dating industry for dating and femininity coaching for a long time. I don't know if she's actually married. I don't know anything about her. But what I do know is that she's well known. And that for some reason she's decided now that she no longer wants to deal with women about dating. She doesn't want to do the work that she was doing with women. And in her Instagram feed, let me just put my glasses on, guys. Many of you would have heard this, but I just thought I'll let you guys on my own channel know what's going on. Right, here we go. So what she said is that after 10 years of helping women in the area of femininity and dating and matchmaking, it's time to move on. She's had dozens of success stories, blah, blah, blah. She did a bit of a sales pitch. But the main part that I want to talk about today is that she said, however, the majority that come to me, so the majority of women that come to her, have unrealistic expectations. They're selfish. They have fake everything. They think they should be chosen because they have a vagina and good looks. They are entitled. They're just mean, not knowing the difference between being a woman and being a wise woman. They'll fight you to be strong, not knowing how to be versus do, thinking that being a feminine woman is weak, or that being a feminine woman is pick me, whatever that is, and that they place the blame and not take responsibility or accountability for choices that they make in men. She carried on to say that these women that she's been dealing with in America are disagreeable, defensive, argumentative about everything, not some things, but everything. She says, if you mention anything about doing something kind for a man, you know, I'm always talking about how you should be kind to your man. She's saying here that if you mention anything about doing something kind for a man, the man that they chose, it's the what is he going to do for me that they're more interested in. Okay? She did say that this doesn't excuse men's behavior, that a lot of men think because they are high earning or high value, so high earning, that it makes them high value. And she said that's not true. And then she carried on to continue with her sales pitch for her courses. I'm not going to bother reading that bit. The bit I'm interested in today is what she's talking about. What she's talking about is what I call toxic femininity. And listen, I'm a woman. I love women. I have a daughter. I want the progress of all the women that I know. I want women to progress in everything they do. That's why I have the course called the Virtues of High Value Women. I have the High Value Women series. I'll put the link in my description box or on the video. I want women to succeed, okay? Every time I see a woman that's doing good, my heart feels wonderful. I love my sisters, and I love my Black sisters as much as I love my non-Black sisters. I want you to be married if you want to be married. I want you to be happily single if you don't want to get married. I want you to be successful in everything that you do. I want you to get a man that will do everything for you. However, having said that, I have to agree with Miss Mason that we as women have a lot to do to make sure that we have all these things that I just spoke about. We have a role to play. I've been making videos about it. You know, how should you treat your man? 20 virtues of a good woman, 20 virtues of a good guy. But, I'm always telling you, my ladies, you can't get what you want by just doing nothing. You can't, and I've been, and this is why I talk about all these coaches. I'm like, vet your coaches, vet your coaches. All of you that like to follow these women that tell you that, you can get whatever you want from a man. All you have to do is wear a nice wig. I know my wig is looking funky. I will change my wig soon. All you need to do is wear a nice wig, put on nice makeup, and say nothing, and that this rich man or this high value man is going to fall into your lap. That's not going to work. You wonder why you're still single. You wonder why you're still single. Right. Let me tell you, let me just start and explain to you what I think is going on. I think that we are suffering in society from something called toxic femininity. Okay? I'm not saying men are perfect. You see, I make my videos about men and what men should bring to the table. But today I'm talking about April Mason and what she's saying about some women, because this is not all women are not bad like this. It's a small minority, but it's a very noisy minority. It's a very noticeable minority. I don't think that all women, black women, or all women are toxic, because if they were, that we won't. We do have some good marriages in America. Okay, so let's be balanced about our perspective. However, there is toxic femininity. I made some notes. There is toxic femininity. And how does this show up? These are female traits that damage society, and prevent the formation of stable relationships. Toxic femininity are feminine traits that are weaponized, that can inadvertently be weaponized against self, men, and society. I'll give you an example of toxic femininity. The court system normally allows women to keep children when there's a divorce. Women know this. A normal woman who is a normal feminine woman would understand that that child needs to see the father. And a normal woman would make arrangements without even having to go to court to allow the child to see their father. They'll come into compromise. But toxic femininity is when the woman uses that rule that she has the child to weaponize the child and use the child as a weapon against the man and stop him from seeing his child. Or when she uses her femininity to pretend that she was attacked by a man just to get the man into trouble. So she's using her feminine traits for negativity. That's an example of toxic femininity. Men have toxic masculinity too. And I will do a video about that. But today, I'm talking to my sisters, okay? So, for example, the female strengths become weapons like manipulation. Assertiveness becomes a weapon that turns into entitlement. I want. I deserve. So it's assertiveness. You being able to assert what you want to say. I would like to be successful in life becomes I actually deserve to be successful, and I deserve to be successful without bringing anything to the table. That's when it becomes toxic, okay? Things like nurturing become toxic when it turns into coddling. And we do this to each other a lot. We coddle each other a lot, right? Things like believability. So the fact that women tend to be believed more than men, right? We know that, right? So if there's a domestic incident, chances are the police are going to believe what the woman is saying more than the man because they're seen as the weaker sex. So toxic femininity weaponizes that and turns it into using it to manipulate the system or to manipulate the man or to manipulate her environment, because she knows that most times if she just reduces her voice like this, people are going to believe what she's saying. So we can weaponize our femininity and it becomes toxic when we use it for manipulation. Our soft nature, we use it in a toxic way to be passively aggressive sometimes. We do this. We're women. We do this, okay? I remember talking to Lead, and I don't remember what video it was, but I remember saying that women have been manipulating things for ages, because that's just the way that's just one of the things we do. The problem is when you manipulate things and use it as a weapon. But manipulation, that's in a woman's natural instinct to survive, okay? But what you don't want is for it to become toxic. So now, how are we toxic to each other? What is April Mailson? What do we normally do to each other that stops us from being able to grow, to achieve our own desires? What do we do to prevent each other from actually achieving what we want? We have toxic behaviors within our own selves that we do to our own selves that stop us from being able to go forward. The number one thing we do is that we, as women, we prefer if another woman is pandering to you, right? So what April is saying is, I'm no longer going to pander to anybody. I'm going to tell you your faults. I'm going to correct you. I am not pandering. I'm canceling you guys. You see, pandering, me just telling you, oh my God, you look good in that dress. You're not really fat. Oh, don't listen to Kevin Samuels because, well, there's some parts you shouldn't listen to. Don't get me twisted. I'm not saying you should listen to everything he says. There's some things you shouldn't listen to. But don't listen to this person or that person because they're just trying to lower your self-esteem. Oh, it's okay. You're 600 pounds. There's somebody who's going to love you. We lie to you. People are lying. We pander to each other. Toxic femininity likes it when a woman is pandering to another woman. Because if you don't pander, which is what she's trying to say, if you try to tell them the truth and they have to be good to a man, she's saying that you're going to be seen as a pick-me. So toxic femininity wants us to pander to each other. Oh, it's okay. You don't have to do anything for him. You don't have to cook. He should just marry you and put you in the house and pay all your bills. You don't have to cook. And you're going to be, yeah, Annie, yeah, you're telling the truth. I don't have to cook. Yeah, why should I cook? He should pay for everything. That would be me pandering to you. I'm not telling you the truth. So what you need to start learning is to know who is pandering to you. There are a lot of dating coaches. I'm not going to name them, who are very popular. They have millions and millions and millions of followers. I'll name Derek Janks as one. He panders. He just tells you what you want to hear, but you're still single. He tells you what you want to hear, but you still struggle to make relationships. And I'm not only talking about single, that you need to get a man. You might be a woman that never wants to get married. But if you're not trained that you have to cooperate with people, you have to get on well with people, you have to bring something to the table of any relationship that you're in, you're going to keep having relationship problems, even if it's with your family, even if it's another girlfriend. So we pander to each other is what I'm writing now. I said, we lie to each other about our looks. We take sides against men. We encourage delusional thinking. We women like women who are going to encourage our delusional thinking. We want a woman you want people to make you feel better. You don't want somebody, I prefer people to tell me, I have friends, they will tell me, girl, this dress, I can see your tummy is coming out again. Why don't you go back to the gym? I prefer that rather than you tell me, oh, you look good. And then 4 years down the line, I'm 50 extra pounds overweight, and you didn't tell me that I was going in the wrong direction. So we need to stop pandering. It's also called staying on code in America. We need to stop trying to stay on code when you know your sister is actually wrong. You go to your friend's house and her husband comes home and the whole house is untidy. The whole house, all the plates are still in the sink. All the food from yesterday has not been cleaned up. And he comes home and he's upset and he tells his wife, oh, I'm really upset. And maybe they start an argument. And instead of you to say, you know what, my friend, you should have really cleaned the house. Oh, please don't scream at your husband. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, he's a horrible man. How dare he come here and tell you to clean the plates? Why doesn't he do the dishes himself? Blah, blah, blah. That girl is digging you deeper into the ditch. You need into the dick. Well, maybe that too. Maybe she's digging you into the dick even more. But you need to value people who are going to stop you from self-destructing. Because we will self-destruct if we don't hear the truth. Second thing, we need to take on more accountability. What April is saying is that women need to take on more accountability. And I love you. You're my very good friends. I'm a girl like you. I want you to succeed. But we do need to be more accountable for our own part in the destruction of relationships. We need to take some accountability for what our role in the destruction of the family, of the family structure. We need to take some accountability for the role we are playing in the demise of relationships, most especially Black relationships. We need to take accountability for when we're wrong. We shouldn't just pass the blame all the time to the men. And the men are to blame a lot as well, don't get me wrong. But it takes two to tango. So the men are to blame, but the women are to blame. We're both to blame. And we both need to be accountable. But this video is for the ladies. You need to be accountable. Okay? We must drop the third thing that we do that is toxic, is we have like relationship double standards as women, right? That's toxic femininity, because we have this relationship double standard. How does it make itself shown? I wrote it down. We make demands on the man, but we don't necessarily want to do anything in return. You know? I call them the I am the table brigade. I must have at least 3 or 4 videos about I am the table. Go and check the title, I am the table. And I talk about it. I made it more than 2 years ago before all this kicked off. The I am the table brigade. We have unrealistic relationship double standards. All the things we expect the man to do, we don't expect to do anything in return. So we expect the man to do so many things, but we don't necessarily want to do as much in return. You know? So I said some feel like they should get all their requests, but he doesn't need to get all his needs met. So for example, she's like, oh yeah, I want a man that has money. I want a man that will give me money. I want to go to the salon and do my hair. But I don't want to help any man build. But you want the man who has money, but you don't want to help the man build money. So that's contradictory. That's a double standard. Oh, I want a life of luxury. I want a life of luxury, but I don't want to contribute anything to finding that luxury. Again, that's a double standard. You know, you want it, but you don't want to do anything to get it. You know, the worst one that I normally hear, and lead attorney was a victim of this. I made a video about it. I want to be a stay-at-home wife. I want a man to put me in a nice home, and I don't want to go to work. I don't want to pay any significant bill. I don't want to do anything like that. I want to be a stay-at-home wife. But I don't want to cook. I don't want to clean. I don't want to cook. I don't want to clean. You know, I don't want to do any housework. I'm not a maid. But I want to live in the house as a stay-at-home mom, but I don't want to be a maid. Like, he still needs to pay for a maid, even though I'm there doing nothing. That's a ridiculous, unrealistic double standard, right? So the man is basically paying for 2 wives. He's paying for you, and then he's paying for the maid as well. So that, to me, is an unrealistic double standard that women have, relationship double standard. If you want to be a stay-at-home wife, then you're his employee. You should do what he wants. I'm not talking about allowing him to stray. That's a completely different video. But I'm just saying, do your wifely duties. Okay? So we should be thinking about what we can do. What we can do to support this man. The real thinking should not be toxic femininity. It should be, what can we do to support this man? Let's not judge so harshly. Let's not have expectations that are completely unrealistic. You know, let's not have expectations that are unrealistic, because these expectations are actually fueled by lies. Okay, when you go on social media, you see the perfect family as one that has two Mercedes Benz parked outside. They're living in a big mansion. You know, they have a piano room. They have a teacher. They have everything that they want. Big swimming pool, and they go on 5 holidays a year. And the woman is wearing Prada and Chanel bags, and the man is wearing whatever it is men wear. They're a designer, and none of them have pimples on their face. You see me, I have pimples. My makeup is rubbish. But if I wanted to make myself look unrealistic, I will use a filter. So we see all these filtered lives on Instagram. And this feeds our unrealistic expectations that we as women bring to the table and put the burden on the man, because we don't want to donate to any of it though. We want to live the life, but we don't want to donate anything to it. We don't want to rub the man's back. We don't want to even give him a vapor. We don't want to give him a back rub, because that's going to be like just too much trouble. I'm not his mother. Why should I rub his back? I'm not his mother. I'm not here to be any grown man's mother. Excuse me. I'm not here to be a grown man's mother, but you're there to enjoy his money. You want to be the wife and enjoy his money, but you don't want to help him feel better when he comes back from home. We have unrealistic needs. This is what she's talking about. That you just want. You don't want to give anything in return. Unrealistic needs. You want a man that is earning 100,000, but you want to live a £1 million life. You want to, I somebody told me the other day, like before COVID, I had some holiday pictures up, and somebody said, "Oh my God, that's such a dusty holiday." That's such a dusty holiday. It's not a, she called it something. It's not the Maldives. It's not the Maldives. It's not a, she had a name for it. She said it wasn't a high society holiday. It was a dusty holiday. I was like, okay, show me your own dusty holiday. If my holiday is dusty, oh yeah, show me your own. That's toxic femininity. You know, belittling things that even you yourself cannot afford. My holidays are, oh, your clothes are so cheap. Your clothes are so cheap. I only wear designer wear. I only wear dresses that are like £4,000 or 5,000. When we know the statistics tell us every day that 1 in 3 Americans cannot pay their rent. 59% of Americans do not have a £1,000 emergency fund, and you're trying here to front that you buy £7,000 dresses on credit. Is that a life that you want to brag about? That's toxic femininity. And then you put all this burden on your man. You want him to provide all these things for you. But you don't want to cook for him though. You don't want to rub his back. How dare he ask you to come and rub his back? What does he think? Am I his maid? How dare he to tell me to do his laundry? What? Me? Do a man's laundry? That's ridiculous. I'm going to go on my Facebook and tell all my friends, this stupid man that I'm married to that put me in a house where I don't have to pay any rent and pays for all my clothes and everything, wants me to do his laundry? What? And then all the other toxic feminists are going to come out. How dare he ask you to do that? What a stupid husband. You should be thinking of leaving him. You should do that. Before you know, marriage broken down, flat on your face, nothing left. And then you've now created a new red pill man that hates women, because even though he gave everything, it still was not enough. And you poo-pooed on him. Took his child, maybe half of his money, maybe more. And you wonder why he's out there hating all the women. Those are the men that Kevin Samuels is dealing with. They've been hurt by toxic women. You know? What else was I going to say? Oh, there's the Don't Settle Brigade. You're a queen. You're sitting in your... Okay. Can I swear? Can I go gangster on you guys? Right? Okay. I'm going to drop the good girl act and go gangster on you guys. You're sitting in your bloody 1-bedroom flat in the middle of ghetto Tennessee somewhere. You have only 2 shoes, one has a hole in it. Yeah, you might be skinny, but you stink. You don't know how to have showers. You can't even string two sentences together in proper English, right? But you want a high value man. Right. Okay. Yes. He'll come. No, he won't. All right? Unreasonable standards. I'm not going to settle. And you're sitting there and some liar is telling you, you're a queen. Don't settle for less. You're a queen. Don't say, and you're sitting there thinking you're a queen because social media is lying to you. Stop laughing at me. My daughter is laughing at me. Because social media is lying to you. You're not a queen. Go clean yourself up. Go get your GED. Go to school and learn a trade. And then maybe you will meet somebody who has a decent job. He won't be a millionaire, and he might put you up in his house. Right. This is me telling you the truth now. That's what April is trying to say too. And I'm not talking to good women. There are many good women in America. Many thousands of good women. But I'm talking to this particular cohort of women that are troublemakers and that have toxic femininity and that are fueling the toxic masculinity, and both sides are being toxic together. I'm coming for you guys one day. Don't worry. I'm going to make the guy version. Because you guys, I know you're going to be like, oh yeah, she's turning off the girls. But you guys have your own issues too. Yes, you do. So there's this give nothing in return narrative, okay? They're always like, what have you done for me lately? I want to give nothing in return. I think I've covered that. Oh, toxic femininity. They shun the middle class. They actually think that the middle class is a bad thing. Sitting in that, what's the worst state in America? I don't know. Idaho, in Minneapolis, whatever. You know that there's a shack somewhere in the middle of Arizona somewhere that nobody ever goes to. They're sitting there, but because they have access to internet and Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg has a lot to be blamed for. They have Facebook, they can see Instagram, and they can listen to some liar sit there and tell them that the world revolves around their dirty butt. They have the guts to even shun the middle class. I've seen women. What? I've seen women that think that a man that earns $50,000 is like, oh no. And you know the women that think this is not even the women that are earning 200,000. It's the ones that don't even have a job. They're looking down on a man that earns 50,000. Meanwhile, they don't have a job. That's toxic femininity. That's madness. Okay? So I think this is what April Mason is talking about. I call it toxic femininity. It does have a name, toxic femininity. It's destructive. It's going to stunt your growth. Even if it's not just relationships, it's going to stunt your growth in relationships. It's going to stunt your growth and productivity in jobs. It's going to stunt your growth and productivity in life. It's going to make it difficult for you to form good relationships and achieve your best potential. So you need to start toning it down and learning how to take accountability, learning how to have realistic expectations, learning how to bring the same standard, your same expectation and standards on putting on standards on yourself that you require from the other person. What does it look like? If you want a healthy man who is a kind man, who is a generous man, you turn to that thing that you want. Become a healthy woman who is a kind woman, who is generous in giving not just money, but all that she can, femininity, to help to develop the man and to help to maintain wherever he is or even make him better. Become that thing that you want. Stop being a double standard. If you want a man that loves you, start showing love. If you want a man that values you, start valuing him. If you want a man that respects you, start respecting him too. So basically, give what you want in return. Become that thing that you want, and stop pandering. Stop lying. Stop going for people who are just going to pander to you. A little bit of, actually, a healthy dose of real criticism is not a bad thing. Okay? You don't want to go to a doctor and then you have cancer. Look at what happened to MTR. You don't want to go to a doctor and he sees that you have cancer, but he tells you, oh, don't worry, you don't have cancer. Go home, all is good. And that cancer is killing you slowly. You want somebody who's going to be able to say, there's a bit of cancer in your hand. Can I take it out for you? So criticism is like that. When you have a woman like me criticizing you, telling you this is what you need, it's me saying there's this little cancer there. I'm not saying your whole body is riddled, but I'm saying, but there's this little cancer here. Why don't you deal with this little cancer? And then when you deal with it, you're healed. You can move on. Like we said, many of us need therapy. But many of you don't even know what a good relationship looks like. And that's why you need to keep watching these videos that I'm making. Because I was raised in a 2-parent home. I was in a marriage for 22 years. You know, I have been giving people relationship advice over here. And I started across the pond 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, just before COVID. And I've seen that a lot of the people that I talk to, they've calmed down and they're enjoying relationship. Because I'm never going to tell you to just be in a man's face. I'll always tell you to be calm. The good old-fashioned way. Just be calm. You can achieve, you see that manipulation I was talking about, you can achieve so much more just by being calm. Just by being calm. Right, that's the end of my video. My response to April Mason, and talking about toxic femininity. I'm not saying that all the guys are perfect, because the guys have to play their own role. But for the women, this video is for the women, because I love you and I just want you to understand how toxic femininity shows itself. And I want you to hold the mirror to your face and say, do I have any of these toxic behaviors? If you have any of these toxic behaviors, the next thing is, how am I going to deal with it? And watch a lot of the videos that I have that show you how to deal with men. Oh my God, 31 minutes. It's a very long video. Okay, I'll see you in my next video. Take care and bye-bye.